Manifestation is cognitive shift, playing with life, playing with being alive.
Beautifully, Bhagwan explained what is power manifestation. It is a cognitive shift from what we understand as body and mind to the conscious sovereignty as our very truth, as our reality. That is science of power manifestation. It is a science because it can be repeatable and all of us can experience it, and which is authentic, time tested, scientific, and foolproof. The evidences for the science of power manifestation, the evidences from the Shastra Pramana, the scriptural references, the eternal unchangeable truth revealed in the source scriptures, the Vedas and the Agamas. Apta Pramana, experience and the results of the Aptas. Aptas are the Rishis, Munis, Ganas, Nainamas, Alvars, Siddhas. All of them, millions of them, are authority of Hinduism who manifested all the powers of Paramashiva. Atma Pramana, account of His Divine Holiness Bhagavan Nithyananda Paramashivam, this millennium's avatar's personal experience of power manifestation, Bhagavan's very own Leelas to manifest how he, in the human body, can have a cognitive shift and manifest the conscious sovereignty as his reality, the very truth he displays as his reality. Shakshi Pramana, the millions of disciple, devotees, followers, initiated by Bhagavan, manifesting the powers of Paramashiva. Bhagavan said, whoever is in the Kailash courtyard manifesting past sessions, I myself will be there to manifest as their reality, that they are Paramashiva. Pratyaksha Pramana, the scientific study measuring the effect of being in the enlightened state. Bhagavan has beautifully given us thoughtless space that we can experience as the higher reality. We know only thoughts as we exist. How in the dream we know that it is in the sleep which happens. In the waking state, we know only thoughts that happens. But more than thought, there is Turiya and Turiyatita state where we can experience the oneness as the ultimate. How we have a sleep state where we have a dream and a deep sleep. And then we have the waking state, which is thought space. And beyond the thought, there is the awakened state, the oneness state, which we can experience as the ultimate auspiciousness, abundance, and reality. And each of us can experience that because it is a science. And beautifully, Bhagavan gives us the method of manifesting the powers of Ashtama Shakti here. The scriptural references for Ashtama Shakti from Shiva Samhita 5.78, 5.7678.
युस्सन्नचरते देहे रसवृद्धिर्भवेद् ध्रुवम् आकाशपनकजगल्तीयूसमपि बध्नते मरणं खाद्यते तेन स केनापि न खाद्यते तस्य स्यात् परमा सिद्धिर् अनिमादिगुणप्रदा वायुः स न चरते देहे रसवृद्धिर्भवेद् ध्रुवम् आकाशपनकजगलप्तीयूसमपि बध्नते.
Bhagavan Paramashiva says, death is eaten by him, he is eaten by none. He manifests the highest powers of Ashtama Shakti, Anima, Lahima, Bahima, Garima, all the 8 powers. And the Vayu, the wind energy, moves equally throughout his body. The juice of his body also increases, Rasa Vriddhi. The nectar exuding the eternal notice also increases in him. Bhagavan beautifully says, how you are deluded in the outer world, you are moving to more and more boredom, tiredness, disease, and death. If you understand the conscious sovereignty, the very truth who you are, you can experience the oneness with Paramashiva and start living as quantum. We have only the body that we live, but even the body, we have the 3 sariras that we go into different phases, the deep sleep, sleep, and the waking state. Bhagavan beautifully says how you can experience the greater reality if you understand the very truth, the genius in each of us. Even the Tiruvannamalai had 50 geniuses who experienced the oneness as the ultimate reality, the consciousness, the quantum entanglement, the quantum space, how we exist as reality. We are not just the body and just the mind. We are consciousness who is manifesting even the body, and the mind does not exist. The light comes in, shadow does not exist. Beautifully, even Bhagavan says, the darkest of the dark room, just for thousands of years, which is pitch dark, can be lit by just one lamp. And that whole darkness is lost in just a one lamp which is lit in few seconds. The same way Bhagavan says, Bhagavan's beautiful initiations and Shaktipada and Shaktinipada is the way to experience the greater reality as oneness and manifest the quantum space and leave all the suffering and all the delusion, understanding that you are quantum. You are not just the body, but you are the quantum space who can become the body, who can manifest any reality that we want. But understanding the higher science is all about the power manifestation. And that is why he says, once you understand, you don't have the birth and death cycle. Even death is a delusion. It's a bigger delusion, that's all. And he is eaten by none. Understanding this, there is no death. There is only eternal space of Paramashiva, living, breathing, and experiencing as Paramashiva. The Apta Pramana, Aptas are the Rishis, Munis, Ganas, Nainamas, Alvars, Siddhas, who manifested the powers. Here, beautifully, Krishna, as a charioteer, takes Arjuna and saves him from Karna. When he tried to shoot him, he reduced the size of the wheel and made the chariot smaller than usual. And suddenly, because of the change of the height, Karna did not expect, and he could not kill Arjuna. The beautiful space that Krishna played is just mere view, such a simple things that he did, but it manifested as huge powers that Pandavas simply lived through all that and manifested only Krishna's space as their reality. Bhagavan himself has manifested Ashtama Shakti in LA Ashram, where he reduced the size of the deity to enter into the door, which was 6 feet 10 inches. 6 feet 8 inches was the door, and the deity was 6 feet 10 inches. 2 inches, you cannot move the door or expand the door, but simply because Bhagavan blessed, it entered in, and they measured it again after entering. It was only 6 feet and 10 inches. It did not reduce the size. And the door was also the same size, 6 feet 8 inches. Then how did it happen? That is the Paramashiva space, the quantum space. Paramashiva himself wanted to enter in the Garbha Mandir in LA temple. So he reduced his size and entered and became as usual back to normal. Now we are going to experience the oneness with Paramashiva and manifest the powers. The guidelines: start the cameras so that you can record all these great moments. You can record anything in the outer world, but in the inner world, this is the only time you can record the ultimate truth. Apply the Jnananjan in the Kantamala, in your third eye and your temples. If you don't have, you can apply the Basma and Kumkum. And if you don't have the Basma and Kumkum, you can apply the turmeric, which also detox the third eye. And more you detox the third eye, the command center that you call it in science, you are more clear with the reality that the consciousness can reflect in you as the reality. It is just like a pot of water and the sun is reflecting on that water, but there is a layer of cloth on that pot. If the layer of the cloth is dropped and the pot is kept in an angle that the sun rays fall into the pot, simply it will reflect the sun. Same way Bhagavan beautifully says, if we remove the mind that we don't have first place and detox the body, simply we will be aligning the conscious sovereignty as our reality in our brain and start manifesting the highest powers of Paramashiva. Now measure the object, that whatever decrease in the height you want to make, measure the object, and if it's a small object, you can fully draw the full thing of the object. Trace it basically and do it twice so that it is authentic and you are convinced there's no doubt in you. And if the end of the session, if the 5 units or 10 unit it has decreased, then you have manifested the powers fully. If you just feel the Kundalini energy or the object has moved from the position, or you just feel the heat in the object, you have started manifesting. Go ahead and celebrate your manifestation and celebrate others' manifestation. You will start manifesting more powers of Paramashiva. Now let's get into the instruction for meditation. Sit straight with your head, neck and spine in a straight line. Bring Paramashiva, Parashakti into your third eye. Sit as 25 heads. That's what Bhagavan said. Each one of you have 25 heads. And sit as Parashakti with 25 heads and 75 eyes. And we have 50 hands. Aware and alive, that's what Bhagavan calls it. An absolute unclutching from what you call as the thoughts. There is no such thing as thoughts. That is not the very nature of how we exist. The very nature is Paramashiva, the oneness, the quantum space. There is nothing that we need to do. We don't have to do anything inside. That's all we need to do. And that is the absolute unclutching from the thoughts that we have. Thoughts are like fishes. It just keeps jumping. Do not bother. It will settle down and move away to some other location. That's all need to be done. We have to just ignore it, completely make it redundant and irrelevant. It will settle down and disappear. The essence of completion is making it redundant, Bhagavan says. Make it redundant and simply be in the space of Paramashiva. Everything, auspiciousness and abundance starts flowing through you. Now, this is the Thyaga that we can experience. Shaktipada and Shaktinipada is the ultimate gift from Paramashiva. Now, let's entangle with Bhagavan in the quantum space. Chant the Mahavakya for merging into the oneness with Paramashiva and manifest the powers of Ashtama Shakti, decreasing the height of a small object. Let's start chanting from the navel center deeply with a deep, intense listening and raising yourself in the chanting by dissolving your body into the oneness with Paramashiva. Just dissolve into that space of oneness. Just have Paramashiva as your identity for a few minutes and experience the greater truth of the Paramashiva, conscious sovereignty itself as your reality.
Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Let Paramashiva's third eye manifest in all our third eyes. Let the Amrita pour, let the Vani open up, manifest in all of us. Let Paramashiva overflow, manifest the powers in all our third eyes. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. 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 Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Let Paramashiva's third eye manifest in all our third eyes. Let the Amrita pour, let the Vani open up, manifest in all of us. Let Paramashiva overflow, manifest the powers in all our third eyes. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. 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 Om Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda 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 Paramashivoham. Let Paramashiva's third eye manifest in all our third eyes. Let the Amrita pour, let the Vani open up. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham.
So beautiful. Whatever you have received as prasada, whatever, you can go ahead and share it. You can measure it again now, whether the whatever object you have kept has decreased. If it has decreased, that is beautiful. If it has not decreased, then go ahead and share others' post, and simply you will start manifesting more powers. How does that work? The more and more you contribute, that you believe that Paramashiva is real and manifestation is real, you start experiencing that. The worm keeps seeing the bee and so scared the bee will eat the worm, and finally the worm becomes the bee. That's how it becomes the bee. The beautiful signs, when we are engrossed continuously in something, we become that. The more and more we are engrossed in something, that is what our life is. Not what we desire, not what we fear, or not what we have greed about. But what we become is what we cherish. That Bhagavan says so beautifully, how we cherish the oneness with Paramashiva, we become Paramashiva himself. The more and more you soak something in honey, simply the whole thing changes into honey. Or if you have a magnet and an iron keeps stuck in the magnet for a long time, the iron becomes the magnet. Same way, that is how the whole reality works. The more and more you're soaked in Paramashiva space in you, which is the reality of you, you become that as the reality. Bhagavan beautifully says the currency of cosmos is the oneness, the eternal currency. If we learn that, we don't have any suffering and we don't have any death and any of the struggle that we need to go through, but go on manifesting our reality as the ultimate space of oneness, as reality. Bhagavan Paramashiva simply manifests all that aligns with us and fulfills us and more manifest us as the greatest possibility. And if we start letting go our identity and experience that oneness, we'll start manifesting the highest reality. Ravana thought he is more strength, and he only recognized Bhima as Pandava's strength, not Krishna, because he thinks being strong is the only strength that he knows. But conscious sovereignty is the strength Arjuna knows. That's why he chose Krishna, and who won the war, you know. The conscious sovereignty is the ultimate decision for you to experience any reality. That is what Bhagavan gives us, the ultimate space of oneness as our reality, and brings so much of auspiciousness and abundance and bliss that we can manifest any reality. And experiencing that, how can we do that? By continuously being in that space of oneness with Paramashiva. Can I function then in outer world if I continuously be in that? We know how to function with continuous troubles and problems. Why not be in Paramashiva, excited and inspired continuously when we can manifest the powers? There is nothing that we cannot do. All that takes is only the conscious decision, the will persistence to experience Paramashiva as our ultimate. We can function in this world and the other world if we know the whole science of consciousness. So let's sit straight with the head, neck and spine in a straight line. Put away your gadgets for a few more minutes. And let's chant Mahavakya intensely to experience the deep oneness with Paramashiva. Chant and entangle with Bhagavan and see the results for yourself in few days. How much of abundance, auspiciousness, bliss start just showering on each of us. So let's start chanting the Mahavakya intensely and with a deep listening, merging into the space of Paramashiva.
Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Let Paramashiva's third eye manifest in all our third eyes. Let the Amrita pour, let the Vani open up, manifest in all of us. Let Paramashiva overflow, manifest the powers in all our third eyes. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda Paramashivam. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. 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 Let Paramashiva's third eye manifest in all our third eyes. Let the Amrita pour, let the Vani open up, manifest in all of us. Let Paramashiva overflow, manifest the powers in all our third eyes. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. 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 Let Paramashiva's third eye manifest in all our third eyes. Let the Amrita pour, let the Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. 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 Let Paramashiva's third eye manifest in all our third eyes. Let the Amrita pour, let the Vani open up, manifest in all of us. Let Paramashiva overflow, manifest the powers in all our third eyes. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. 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 Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham.
Such a beautiful space. Whatever Paramashiva has manifested through you, the prasada. Bhagavan beautifully says, when you connect to Paramashiva, it becomes free will, it becomes choice. You are the Brahmanya Mahaputratam. You are the god and goddesses who have come down to experience the Paramashiva eternally in the space of Paramashiva. That is what happens when you start manifesting all these powers. The Balasans took 3 years to manifest the first powers, but after that they just started manifesting many powers. It is only the first time when you start clicking with it, it just takes time to understand the new reality. And after you settle down, the fluttering period settle down, you know that you are Paramashiva. You are manifesting all the reality. Please go ahead and share it in tinyurl.com/powermanifestation. Whatever Bhagavan has given as the ultimate reality, when you go ahead and share and contribute to others' life, by sharing your powerful cognition, by sharing your experiences, by sharing your powerful power manifestation itself, you are contributing to others' life, and simply they will raise into the higher reality and also start coming to satsang and manifesting powers. If you see a $sign at the end of the YouTube, please go ahead and drop a unit of your currency. The more and more we start contributing, the inner space start expanding to such beautiful space. Each of us is Paramashiva who is manifesting the ultimate reality. If we understand how we function from that space, simply life becomes auspiciousness and abundance. Let's surrender all these great truths to Bhagwan's lotus feet and thank Bhagwan for the Paramashiva space. Bhagwan with a deep earning and gratitude to start manifesting Paramashiva as our reality. And thank each one of you for manifesting the powers of Paramashiva. Simply be here and you will start experience the highest reality. The more and more we start mirroring the neurons, at one point the mirroring neurons manifest as powers. So with that, thanking each one of you and thanking Bhagavan, let's end this session with the Purna Mantra. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purna Purnamudashyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat Sarvam Bhagavate Sri Nithyananda Paramashivam Paduka Arpanamastu. Om Nithyanandam. Thank you so much. We have the next session at 6 p.m. in Kailash Kotiyar Manifesting Power session. You can log in through eKailasha and join us for the next power manifestation session. Thank you, Nithyanandam.